Hi, welcome to my pep talk. Today we are discussing a very unique topic, standing up for yourself against abuse. Just last week, my latest short story, The Confrontation, came out on Amazon Kindle. But this pep talk is not about promoting my book, but this discussion is rather about discussing the theme that my story is based upon, which is standing up for yourself in case of abuse. The Confrontation is about 37 years old Neha Sarkar, who was sexually abused by her cousin 22 years ago when she was just 15 years old. 22 years have gone since then, and still Neha finds it difficult to move on from that traumatic experience. She lives in pain every day. Her life is miserable. She is unable to hold on to relationships. She is unable to hold on to the jobs. She is not able to connect with herself after that traumatic experience when she was sexually abused by her cousin. The Confrontation is about a woman who finally gathers the courage to face her abuser. But facing your abuser is rather easier said than done, isn't it? Talking about facing your abuser and talking about the experience that you has gone through, it's very difficult. It's one of the most difficult tasks of the life, and that is why this pep talk is specially curated for girls and women, but it can be benefited to anyone who is watching this and who wants to gather courage and who wants to do something about that abusive episode or episodes that have happened to you. So in today's pep talk, we will learn what does it mean by standing up for yourself, how you can benefit from it, and ultimately how you can stand up for yourself if you have gone through any traumatic episode like an abuse. When it comes to abuse, there are basically 4 types of abuse. Physical abuse, meaning when someone is abusing your body. Mental abuse, meaning when someone is abusing your mental well-being. Emotional abuse, when someone is abusing your emotions. And the final is sexual abuse, when someone is abusing your body through some sexual act. Facing your abuser is not easy. It requires a lot of courage, a lot of determination. So when you stand up against the abuse, you are actually protecting yourself. So this is the basic meaning of standing up for yourself. When you are protecting your right, when you are protecting your right to be respected, when you are protecting your space and privacy that you deserve. If someone is abusing you in some way, and if you are doing something about it, you are taking any action, then it means that you are standing up for yourself. It's not easy, I know, but it is doable, because many of us have gone through such kind of experiences, such kind of traumatic experiences, but still many of them are also finding the courage at the same time and do something about what has happened to them. The example of standing up for yourself is like when someone is abusing you emotionally, when someone is belittling you, when someone is ridiculing you, then you say no to that person. You start avoiding that person because you believe in yourself. You believe that you are much more than you realize. When you are avoiding that person, when you are telling that person that no, it is not acceptable, you cannot ridicule me, you cannot belittle me, I am as worthy as I can be. So this is the example of standing up for yourself. When you are doing something against what's going either wrong with you or around you, or in some cases both. So this is the meaning of standing up for yourself. This is the meaning of protecting yourself in the case of an abuse. So why should you stand up against the wrongdoing that has been going on with you or around you? Because being respected is our fundamental right. And when someone is abusing us, then it means that person is invading our privacy. That person is taking away our fundamental right to be respected. And it is unacceptable. Once you start doing something about the abuse that has happened to you or that has been happening with you, then it becomes very important for you, it becomes very clear to you that you want to protect yourself, that you want to do something about it, and mostly you want to stop this to happen. because facing your abuser takes a lot of courage, a lot of determination, a lot of clarity and support from within. It's not easy. But if one person is disrespecting you, then it is your duty to protect yourself. And once you are aware what has happened to you was an abuse and it is wrong, then you should do something about it. Another reason why you should be standing up for yourself is that you gain more clarity about the situation. You get to understand more about the relationships. Let me tell you that abuser in many cases is usually the person we know already. Maybe it is a parent, maybe it is a grandparent, maybe it is a teacher or a classmate or a friend or a neighbor or a teacher or a priest. I mean, abuser can be anyone, and it is usually someone we know. That is why it becomes very hard to talk about it, to understand it, to accept the fact that I am going through a traumatic experience because of a person I know and care about. That is why it is really difficult to come to the terms with the incident. So when you are standing up for yourself, you are protecting yourself, you are giving yourself clarity, you are telling yourself such kind of narrative that yes, I can do it, I am courageous, I am determined, and I have clarity and I have power over myself. I am not going to give that power away to someone else. So that is why you should learn how to stand up for yourself. It's not easy, as I said, but it's doable. Another reason is that people get inspired by you. When, just like a few years ago, Me Too movement was going on. Millions of girls and women, they around the world, they stood up together and they shared their traumatic experiences. There were celebrities, there were local women. Everyone they came forward and they talked about the abusive episodes that have happened to them. This inspired a lot of people, and then another lot came forward. That is how, when you stand up for yourself, another reason is that you inspire people. You bring a positive change into the community. And I am not saying that you should stand up for yourself only because you want to inspire others. This is the secondary reason. Primary reason should be to protect yourself, to protect your privacy and space, and to tell the person that you cannot take my power away. This should be the primary reason of you for standing up for yourself. But when you do it, the consequence of your courageous act is other people get inspired by this. The community, a positive change comes into the community, and well, change is something that should be acted upon, that should be taken a charge of, and not just an observation and not just an expectation. So let's learn a few ways using which we can learn how to stand up for ourselves. First is raise your voice. The word no, N-O, no, has a great depth of power. When someone is abusing you in any way and you say no, I do not accept this, no, it is unacceptable, no, you have to move away, do not do this to me, I will report you, I am not accepting this. You are telling the abuser that you have the power and you are telling him or her to go away. Raising your voice is very, very important when it comes to abusive episodes. You can raise your voice, and there are high chances that when the victim is raising the voice, when the victim is denying to continue having this experience, the abusers sometimes they back off. They know that you are strong, that you have found the strength. So raise your voice, say clear no, and just try to be firm about this. Another way to stand up for yourself in a case of an abuse is to talk to someone, because it is really hard to say no, to send the signal that you do not want this kind of experience to the abuser. Because in many cases, abuser is someone you already know, like maybe, for example, it can be a grandfather or a grandmother. So when the abuse is happening with you, first of all, you are dangling between two sides. First side is you are feeling uncomfortable with this kind of experience, and your gut feeling is that this should not be happening, this shouldn't happen. But the another side of this situation is she's your grandmother, and she loves you as she says, um, and your family members tell you that she loves you. So if she loves me, then why is she doing this to me? So you keep dangling between these two aspects of the situation, and that's when your mind becomes foggy. Pardon me for the background noise, there's some construction work is going on. Then your mind becomes foggy, you become very, very confused about what to do with this. She's my grandmother, she loves me, but still what she's doing to me, I'm getting very uncomfortable. So what to do? So that is why it is very hard, first of all, to gain the clarity over the situation, and second of all, to do something about it. So if you are not sure, first of all, what is happening with you, whether it is right or wrong, then find someone on whom you completely trust, and who trusts you completely, who listens to you, who really, really cares about you. It can be your parent, it can be your best friend, it can be your teacher, someone who is warmed up to the idea that if you share something, if you share a secret of your life, that person will not say it anywhere else or to anyone else. Find a person and talk to them about this. Try to gain the clarity over the situation, and specifically tell about your feelings, how you are feeling. Even though she is your grandmother, even though he is your grandfather, even though he is your father or mother, it's still, if you are feeling uncomfortable, spill out all those uncomfortable feelings, all those things that has been going around you. Maybe that person will help you find the clarity over to the situation, or maybe by talking through it, by walking through this experience during a conversation, you will understand more about the situation, you will gain more confidence about it. So talk to someone about this. Another way of standing up for yourself in the case of an abuse is avoiding the person or the place that triggers such kind of experiences. So maybe if it is your grandmother who is abusing you, then what you can do, you can avoid talking to her, you can avoid going to her house, you can, in fact, in one sentence, you can avoid all the scenarios that includes her and you. Try to avoid that person, try to avoid the abuser, because abuse is not your fault. You should not be feeling guilty about it, abuser should be feeling guilty about it. But if he or she is not, then it's your responsibility to protect yourself, to avoid that person. And it's absolutely okay. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's your father or mother or best friend, your sibling. It is absolutely okay to avoid your abuser. This is another way of protecting yourself. And you should, at the same time, if there is a particular place going where triggers some such traumatic experiences, avoid going to that place. Avoid going to the to the park where an awful experience has happened, or avoid going to the friend's place where her mom or dad has done something wrong to you. Try to avoid the place as well. In this way, when you are avoiding the abuser or the place where the abuse has happened, you are protecting yourself. You are telling yourself that I am strong enough to take charge of the situation, and more importantly, you are doing something about it. Another way of protecting yourself against abuse is talking to a therapist. Sometimes it's really hard to say no. Sometimes there is no one to talk about, and in some cases it's really hard to avoid the abuser, because maybe if it is your parent, then you cannot just leave the house like that. You have to live with your parent, you have to live with your brother or sister, you have to live with the abuser. So what you can do in this situation? You can talk to a therapist. Find out a skilled and professional therapist into your area, and if possible, go and talk to them. Therapy sessions have helped many people in their lives. When you tell your feelings, when you tell your experience to the therapist, a good therapist will never ridicule it, will never say that it is your fault, because as I said, abuse is always the abuser's fault, not yours. So talk to a therapist. A therapist will tell you ways to cope up with the experience. A therapist will tell you how to stand up for yourself, and during those sessions, you will be able to gather yourself. You will gain clarity on the situation. You will feel empowered within. talking to a therapist is like talking to a friend. You are unloading what's going on within you, and once you are empty inside, you are actually able to sort out your thoughts. You can organize your thoughts around the situation, and then with the help of the therapist, you can certainly do something about the traumatic experience. So talk to a therapist. You can plan your exit very, very carefully. For example, if you are a college going girl, then you are naturally dependent upon your parents, okay? And if your mother or father is abusing you, it's really hard to do something about it in this family situation. So since you are dependent on them for everything, for food, for education, for shelter, for everything, and you feel that you have no option to escape the situation, to escape your house, that means at the same time it is also clear that today is not the option, but tomorrow can be the option, right? So you need to plan your exit carefully. You need to start taking care of yourselves in a way that doesn't require anyone's help. You have to nurture yourself into becoming mentally strong, physically strong, emotionally strong. Even though the other people in your family are not taking, are not acknowledging the experience, even if you have talked about it, they are denying it, or they are telling you to do not tell it to someone else outside of the family because it's a matter of shame. Then what you can do is that you can start protecting yourself just with by the help of yourself. Read good books, listen to music, pick up on some hobbies. It's really difficult, I know, but start protecting yourself, start preparing for tomorrow, because if you start planning today, then it becomes a possibility for a tomorrow that you will finally be able to escape the situation. You will finally be able to escape your family. So plan your exit very carefully. And for planning this, you must have money with you. You must have a strong body for which you can do exercise. You must have a strong mental and emotional well-being. You can take care of your emotions. You can be mentally strong. You can teach yourself this. It takes time. Do a lot of research. You can do some research on the internet, and you can find that how to become mentally strong. Mentally strong person, they usually do not get overwhelmed by the situation, and they feel balanced. So try to find balance within you, and also take care of everything that you may require for tomorrow. Okay, so planning your exit carefully in such kind of abusive experiences gives you a hope, a possibility of maybe one day I'll be able to escape my house. Maybe one day I'll be able to get rid of that teacher. So even if it is not possible today, but it will be possible tomorrow. So give yourself hope. Talk to yourself positively. Stand up for yourself. Doesn't mean that you have to do it in front of the others. The moment you decide, I have to stand up for myself, that is the moment that you have shown to yourself that yes, I'm strong enough, I'm courageous enough. So here are the few ways of standing up for yourself in case of an abuse. First is raise your voice, say no to the abuser. Second, talk to someone you trust absolutely. Third is avoid the abuser or going to the place that triggers such kind of memories. Fourth is talking to a therapist. And fifth is plan your exit carefully. By using these ways, you can certainly do something about the abusive experience that has either happened with you or has been happening with you. It's not easy, let me tell you, and at the same time, let me remind you again and again that abuse is always the abuser's fault. It's not the victim's fault. You should not feel guilty just because you are getting abused by your family member or a teacher or someone whom you have trusted so much. Do not feel guilty about the situation. Abuser should be the one feeling guilty about this. And if he or she is not doing anything to stop it, if he or she is not stopping the abuse, then it's your responsibility to do it. Stop the abuse today. It's possible and it's doable. I'll see you in the next pep talk.